He tapped Jamal's sleeve. Calm and collected, Jamal replied softly, "I am fine here, just observing." Vanessa handed a glass of wine toward him. He did nothing. Richard snatched it, pretending to help, and emptied it onto Jamal's suit. Gasps spread. Phones clicked. A few guests murmured about the incident. Jamal simply wiped his jaw, adjusted his sleeve, and walked toward the exit, silent, controlled, unstoppable. Outside the ballroom, the hallway was cooler, quieter. Jamal tapped his phone. "Ready for instructions, sir," the voice answered. Calmly, Jamal gave orders. "Pull the offer, lock channels, announce it now." Everything moved in real time. Guests whispered, recognizing the wine-stained man. Some watched, some recorded, but Jamal didn't react. He pressed the elevator button, loosened his ties slightly, and descended with quiet certainty. The night outside was crisp, sharpening his thoughts. If, unaware he owned the company signing their $800 million deal, they humiliated him in front of 200 guests, pouring wine on him and calling him unworthy. Phones were recording, whispers spreading fast. Something shifted in his eyes as he walked out without a word, and the fallout had already begun. That night, Jamal Rivers entered the high-end grand ballroom. Everything looked polished, but underneath the shine, something ugly hid. He wore a simple navy suit, neat fade, and a plain watch, nothing flashy. The kind of look rich people ignored. Crystal lights reflected on white tablecloths. A string quartet played softly, and the air smelled of perfume mixed with steak and wine. Guests were glued to their phones, trying to capture a glimpse of the mystery investor behind the $800 million deal. Jamal moved calmly through the crowd. A guard had stopped him at the door. "You with catering, sir?" The guard asked. Jamal smiled, showing his black invitation card with a silver seal. The guard stepped aside, embarrassed. Inside, the same energy followed him. Guests glanced, whispered, nudged each other. Two women in sequins subtly moved their clutches away from him. A man in a tux cut in front of him at the bar. "Staff first, right?" Jamal ordered water, eyes steady, hands relaxed. Explanations weren't needed. Tonight, he held all the power. At the far end, the host tapped the mic. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hale Quantum Systems Gala," he announced. Heads turned. Applause rose automatically. Jamal stayed near a column, unseen but observing. On stage, Vanessa Hale appeared in a gold dress, lips painted red, gliding with practiced elegance. Beside her stood Richard Hale, CEO and public face of the company, suit immaculate. Everyone watched, except Jamal. Whispers started immediately. Guests assumed he was staff blending in. Vanessa noticed first. Her smirk formed slowly as if she had found her target. Richard, confused, approached Jamal with tight charm. "Sir, are you supposed to be standing here?" He tapped Jamal's sleeve. Calm and collected, Jamal replied softly, "I am fine here, just observing." Vanessa handed a glass of wine toward him. He did nothing. Richard snatched it, pretending to help, and emptied it onto Jamal's suit. Gasps spread. Phones clicked. A few guests murmured about the incident. Jamal simply wiped his jaw, adjusted his sleeve, and walked toward the exit. Silent, controlled, unstoppable. Outside the ballroom, the hallway was cooler, quieter. Jamal tapped his phone. "Ready for instructions, sir," the voice answered. Calmly, Jamal gave orders. "Pull the offer, lock channels, announce it now." Everything moved in real time. Guests whispered, recognizing the wine-stained man. Some watched, some recorded, but Jamal didn't react. He pressed the elevator button, loosened his ties slightly, and descended with quiet certainty. The night outside was crisp, sharpening his thoughts. The city hummed around him, but Jamal moved with calm, deliberate steps. Inside the ballroom, chaos erupted. Music cut mid-note. Screens flickered. Guests froze. Phones lifted, recording everything. The host froze, a practiced smile fading into panic. A man in a gray suit rushed through tables. Phone pressed his ear. "The signing is suspended," he muttered. Confused whispers rippled through the crowd. Richard's jaw tightened. "Suspended? What's going on?" Vanessa's hand trembled as she leaned toward the host. Who gave the order? The host hesitated. It came from the top. Richard blinked. Across the room, executives checked their phones. Alerts popped up. Every account tied to Hail Quantum frozen. Investors were pulling out. Screens flash red. Gasp spread. Then someone whispered, pointing at a phone. A clip played. Richard pouring wine on Jamal, while Vanessa smirked. The caption read, "They humiliated a man they thought was staff. He walked out like he owned the place." The clip circulated instantly. Guests stared in disbelief. Servers whispered to each other. "Told you, he didn't walk like staff. They messed with the wrong man." Richard turned pale. Vanessa's mascara smudged his panic hit. Board members stormed in, phones buzzing, voices overlapping. "This is catastrophic," one said. "Do you know who you offended?" Richard barked. "I offended no one." The board member replied calmly, "You offended the man who funded this deal." Vanessa gasped. "Who?" Richard stammered. "Jamal Rivers." The board member confirmed. "He owns the partner company." "All of it." The fallout hit immediately. Guests backed away. Some left quietly. Others recorded every moment. Headlines flooded the city before sunrise. Hail Quantum deal collapses overnight. Investor turns tables after gala humiliation. Clips of the wine splash looped endlessly online. Investors withdrew. Partners vanished. Board members resigned. By noon, Richard and Vanessa were desperate. They drove to Jamal's quiet neighborhood, the complete opposite of the chaotic morning. When Jamal opened the door, his calm gaze unsettled them. Vanessa spoke first, voice trembling. "We were wrong. We treated you like nothing. Please let us fix this." Richard added shakily, "We lost everything. Just give us a chance to talk." Jamal stepped aside but didn't invite them in. "You didn't lose everything today," he said softly but firmly. "You lost it the second you decided people's worth came from your comfort. You built a world where disrespect had no cost. Now you're seeing the bill." Vanessa wiped her face. "We didn't know who you were." Jamal replied, "That's the problem. You didn't care who I was." Richard swallowed hard. "Is there anything we can do?" Jamal shook his head. "The deal is gone. The trust is gone. My door is closed. Walk carefully. The world is smaller than you think." And with that, he let them leave with nothing. His life moved forward. Their legacy did not. The story of that night spread like wildfire, a humbling reminder that power, arrogance, and disrespect have consequences, and that quiet strength can flip the world in a single moment.